number 55. This has been one of the most highly anticipated second-round picks ever. What is happening right now, Woj, in the Los Angeles Lakers draft room?
Look, the expectation is that right now, Rob Pelinka, their general manager, is calling Bronny James to tell him of the Lakers' intentions to select him at number 55 and give him and LeBron James an opportunity to play together.
This is the first time we have ever seen a father-son duo playing in the NBA. Again, we're waiting officially for the selection at number 55 for the Los Angeles Lakers, but I can't overstate how monumental this is.
It is monumental, and I'll tell you this, too. A lot of noise is going to be made about the power that LeBron James wields. How about this? He deserves to have the power. You know, he's been a treasure to this league. You understand he's a four-time champion. He's a four-time league MVP. He's going to 10 NBA finals. The man has won a championship in Miami, Cleveland, and Los Angeles. I mean, he's a role model extraordinaire. I mean, he's the greatest ambassador, one of the greatest ambassadors for the game we've ever seen. And my goodness, he wants to play with his son, and he's still an all-world caliber player. Excuse me, if anybody deserves the right to quote-unquote manipulate the proceedings to some degree, LeBron James deserved to have that power.
And any father watching, or anybody that is a father, what an unbelievable feeling to play at the highest level of your sport with your son.
Yes.
I can't even imagine.
He's not a role player.
No, he's a star. and also, we talked about, you raised him. Not only are you going to play and work with your son, he seems like an awesome kid. Like, you did it on every level. But I think Bronny also would say, now the hard work starts. Now he just gets to play basketball. And he's not going to be on a two-way contract. That was one of the stipulations. He's going to be on the roster for the Lakers. Now, he may play down in the G League, which I think is fine. I think a lot of these guys today.
Yeah, most second-round picks, that's what
will
happens.
be there.
But we're looking right now at the Lakers draft headquarters. You've been in these conversations, not this exact one, but what does this look like, feel like, sound like?
This is not normal.
There's no precedent.
This is not normal. I mean, there's nothing for this.
It looks clearly right there like Rob Pelinka is making that call to Bronny James, or maybe calling the pick into the league.
Yeah.
While they're listening to us talk about it in the background.
Yeah.
And look, Rob Pelinka there, clearly a decision has been reached. Handshakes all around for Rob Pelinka there with new head coach J.J. Redick. The decision on the most highly anticipated number 55 pick that we have ever seen in the history of the NBA draft. I know we started the show this way, but I can never recall talking about a late second round pick this way. Certainly we've seen talent in the second round. We talked about Nikola Jokic, we talked about Draymond Green, but not coming in this way.
Like, I don't know that we ever will again. I mean, think about the odds of what, again, argue whatever you want. One of the best players ever to play basketball. There's no argument about that. You can argue whether he's the best. Okay, fine, whatever he is. But think about that. It's rare for any player to play with their son in any sport. At the same time as your son, you have to be so good and be so good for so long. I don't think we're going to ever see something like this again, especially with the magnitude of how good LeBron still is.
Well, the pick is officially in. It is a moment that we have all been waiting for. So let's send it to Deputy Commissioner Mark Tatum for the Lakers' 55th pick.
With the 55th pick in the 2024 NBA Draft, the Los Angeles Lakers select Bronny James from the University of Southern California.
The anticipation has been building for weeks as to where we would hear Bronny's name called. This is a young man who had an unprecedented spotlight on him in his freshman year at USC, where he played 25 games. He missed the first 8 games of the season after he went into cardiac arrest on July 24th, 2023. He underwent a procedure to treat a congenital heart defect. To see him less than a year later be drafted is a feat I don't think we can lose sight of. He's, of course, the eldest son of one of the greatest players to ever play the game, LeBron James, and now we see the first ever father-son duo in the NBA, Stephen A.
I'm incredibly happy for Bronny James. I remember when, you know, the
That's
basketball world stopped because the cardiac arrest situation last summer.
Lakers.
I remember being around so many people in this building scared to death that something awful had happened and wondering. You see LeBron James entering the hospital. You know, you heard so many different things. You're scared to death of what had happened to him and what was going to come of it. And to see him here just a year later, being drafted by the Los Angeles Lakers, health intact and what have you can't be happier for him.
And when people want to judge his freshman season at USC and the lack of production that you might normally see, you have to take into consideration what those previous 5 months were. Not just the physical comeback from an episode
this isn't like
that.
a sprained MCL.
Yeah,
But the mental comeback and that process for a young person to come back from a situation like that and to be playing basketball again and then to start to try to play it at a high level. There's so much more room for growth for him.
And can you imagine, as a parent, getting that initial phone call that LeBron and Savannah got about their son, and then you fast forward to where they are right now, celebrating, getting to play together. Like, just think about that range of emotion.
It gives me goosebumps.
Yeah, it is for just life. Forget about the NBA. Right. So I think the thing that people that are critical and negative will say, well, they just drafted him because his last name, whatever it is. Yeah. He's not the smallest player in the draft. He's got a 6'7" wingspan. He's 6'1". There's players with much less wingspan than me. I still think he can be a very good NBA player. I don't think we should, as in the media, people will hope it happens right away. He's still very young, and he didn't really have a last year. So it's going to be fascinating to watch his journey.
But because he's so young, and we don't need to expect but so much out of him as a player, you know what the most exciting part is? You got a guy, LeBron James, entering his 40th year on this earth, that's going to be more hyped, more inspired, arguably, than ever before to pull something out of his hat because he's, you know, you talk about something that rejuvenates you,
Just
that
think
makes your
father and
legs
son
a
win the
little bit more
championship
spry,
together.
you be a bit more energized. Can it get any better than this? Your son is on the squad. You're still a superstar in this game, and you got an opportunity to go out there and do your thing and set the stage for him to come the years to come. It's going to be special.
And remember, for a lot of teams, their G League team is out of market. For the Lakers, it's right there, essentially in the same facility. So even when he's with the G League team, they're still together.
But Bronny James has been very clear in the interviews that we have heard from him. He has said that he wants to forge his own path. I want to bring Jonathan Gavoni in and learn a little bit more about actually the player that the Los Angeles Lakers are getting here in Bronny James.
Malika, I've been watching Bronny James since he was 14 years old. He's made considerable progress year after year
right down the street
year
from my house.
with his perimeter shooting.
He played high school basketball down the block from my
with
house.
his feel for the game.
Yeah,
he
like
still has
literally
quite a bit of
in
upside
Chatsworth.
left to tap into. There's a reason why he was a five-star
Dude,
recruit coming out of high
I didn't
school.
even try.
He impressed
'Cause it was
people
crazy.
mightily at the NBA draft combine, in athletic testing, in shooting drills, and in 5-on-5 play. Bronny James is a legitimate NBA prospect, and I think he has a chance to develop into a very good player for the Los Angeles Lakers.
Yeah, Jonathan, the one thing, too, is that there's been a lot made about Rich Paul not wanting to sign a two-way contract with Bronny James, and that's normal in this process. There were 3 players last year picked in the 50s that signed a 4-year